Hey everyone, hey friends, thanks for joining me. Just waking up and getting ready for work. Oh, what a night. What a night, what a night. So I have Kevin Leandro. I was out with my son for his birthday and I got this email that he's like, "Oh, I want all your messages with Gabe Bult," right? So let's talk about Gabe Bult for a minute. So Gabe Bult and his dad Gordon is someone that I worked for, right? I worked for them, and because of them, I have work today. Because of them, because of the experiences I've had in the cleaning business. So when I got hired, not to give out too much information because there's work confidentiality, but when I got hired, I didn't have any cleaning experience other than my own cleaning. And when I was a kid, I used to help my mom clean in Hooksett over at my great grandmother's home. So we used to go there, and that's kind of what I used, right, for a job. I used what I had, which was, I think I said, I might have missed this, but I thought I said that, I used to have to pick up, throw up from the cat and help my mother clean, right? So that's kind of what I did when we were over there. My mother did a lot of help with her family. She took care of her family. So so I was always going about helping my great grandmother or my grandmother, or my Uncle Bill would be over, my Uncle Steve, my dad's friends, Joe, Paul, my Uncle Jim, my Aunt Carol, or we'd be over there at the trailer park visiting them. I mean, I was just always around people, right? That's how I was raised. So, anyways, all right, long story short, I'm trying to figure out how to approach this. When I speak, I usually leverage my words for a certain purpose. I'm very intentional with my words. I have a purpose behind what I say. I don't just say things. They're usually thought out, they're usually leveraged in a way to bring about a result I want, or I have a reason to minister with my words. So, anyways, he hired me, okay, when I had no skills. So, great human, great person, great human. His whole family, great people. I actually admire his family. I actually thought, I'd love to have a family like them. They all are, you know, believers. They all, as far as I know, they they're just an amazing group of people. They have ministered to people, and you know, I I said to Kevin Leandro sent me all these emails last night saying, "Oh, I'm going to want all text between you and Gabe and all communication and everything." And I'm like, "What do you want? What do you want? Do you want like, I'm on a newsletter? Do you want that? I support his channel, and in my opinion, I helped build his channel because that's what I do. So I'm like, do you want that? What are you looking for?" So he's actually, Gabe Bolt now is a YouTube friend because we're both in the YouTube arena. He's a YouTube friend. And so, what's going on is my husband saw some stuff I put up about work, which was at the time something that I felt I needed to do about my work situation. And so they are going after that now. Um, so I can't really hear because I've got like some background noise, so I'm going to try to turn that down. Hold on. Hey, can you turn that down? I'm trying to talk. So, anyways, so okay, so from there, so when I was working for the Bolts, I worked for them for 6 months. and my mother-in-law was extremely nosy, extremely. So she had gone to the church to be like, oh, okay, I heard Melissa's coming to your church, and I heard she's taking a Grace for the Wounded group. And she left some messages on the church's machine right about Christmas time saying awful things about me, right? So just, I don't even know what her problem is. She needs help, seriously. She needs help. I don't know what her problem is. She thinks she can call me a gold digger and break my marriage down and not have any, you know, consequences for that. So the church let her know exactly what they thought about me, which was a bunch of good. And they're like, yeah, Melissa is part of our, Grace for the Wounded group here, and I wanted some extra care for the abortion. And they're like, yeah, she's a great person and everything. So that didn't quite work, right? Her little tactics to tear me down. So then she went to our trailer one day, and I'm like, well, I gotta get to work. And I was still being kind to her, and I was dressed up in my uniform. And so she's like, where are you working? And I kind of felt like I didn't really want to tell her because she uses every piece of information against me, but yet, I'm outside on my way to work. So I said, oh, I work at New Hampshire Cleaning. And she got in there and tried to figure out my business there. So when Gabe had mentioned some things, I told him, I kind of got this vibe that he knew some of my family. So I was like, you need to just kind of mind your own business, because I felt very protective of my job. And so I had got offended because of this. And I was like, very protective, because I felt like, nobody gets in my business with my family, right? And let me put it this way: whether he knew anything about her saying things to him about my job, or whether he didn't, what had happened was, with the post-traumatic stress, I had not healed up yet. So in 2017, I took a class for post-abortive care. And because they were like, I was being vulnerable, and I'm like, look, I think this is a lot. I don't really think I care for the curriculum. And I think that the curriculum could be better to this day. So the lady doing this was like, you know what? She's like, let's put a break on this. And I'm like, no, actually, you opened a can of worms. We started talking about this, so let's finish it. So she was just like, no, I think it's a lot for you, just because I expressed myself. So I was really ticked off because she had made a decision about abortion related stuff, when in fact that is the very cause many times of abortion, is someone's making a decision for you, right? So otherwise, I got along with Gabe great. We had a work relationship where he was just an all-around good guy. But we did have a misunderstanding at one point, and I was just like, he had fired me, and I'm like, why are you firing me? I'm like, I had come to show some trust in this business, right? So this was very important to me, because after you're dealing with, for me, which was a lot of breaks in my family. I mean, my father had disowned me, my mother was giving me crap, my husband's parents were giving me a hard time, and so here I am working for a Christian company. And there was some bonding, right? Because we're Christians, we're brothers and sisters in Christ. I actually loved his dad, I absolutely loved this job, one of my favorite jobs. So, his brother, everyone, I really loved his family, right? And that kind of connection doesn't happen often in a workplace. And I've worked at tons of places. So I was like, what do you mean you fired me? And he, it was the night before, he was like, you did such a good job cleaning. Thank you so much. I actually, ran over to the dollar store to get extra mop cleaner and all this stuff. So the very fact that I felt blindsided, and he said it was actually his dad who fired me, which I didn't know at the time, but the fact that he blindsided me was something that was pretty hurtful at the time. Um, I mean, not like personally. I mean, a job's a job, right? Not personal. But the fact that what I felt at the time, not healing from post-traumatic stress, was I had felt mistreated and felt like trash, right? Because he just totally, just without the communication, they had let me go, so to say. So I was like, you just, moved, just rented a new place for me and my husband. Um, I depended on you. I trusted you. This is a job where there's relationships. And so I let him have it. And what I did was, because I let him have it, I felt like, it's like my dad said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So I went on social media and I let him have it. And because I did, Kevin Leandro is now using a work situation from, a long time ago. And Gabe and I since have solved that and worked it out, and everything is good. But Leandro has actually looked up information, because my husband's not an online person. Some other things had happened too, and they're actually trying to use that against me. So, it's all good. I'm good with the Bolts. I've gone to Bible studies with them. Well, not with them, but someone in the family since. I've been in prayer over at the church with them. I'm very connected to that church. I still listen to sermons there. So there is no issue, except Kevin is trying to bring this up in court. And he's like, you have a bad habit of tearing people down on your YouTube channel. And I'm like, well, Donna and Carrie, they harassed me online on Facebook, so I think they deserved what they got. They deserve a taste of what they got. And this is not just a one-time thing. This was last Christmas. I heard, now we got Ben without her. And then the harassing all the way up for like 30 years. So there's that. There's my sister-in-law going on Facebook and trying to tear me down there after I, shared the gospel with her, and she didn't really want her daughter, and I was the one who said, you and my brother should work it out, and she didn't like being pregnant, she didn't really want her, and she didn't really take good care of her when she was younger, and I babysat her. So that was a huge investment I made in her. And then I said to Kevin, as far as the abortion, that needed to be talked about. And that's what my channel's about. It's my freedom of speech talking about abortion, because it had been swept under the rug so much. So the issues I had at work, and what I later, did was I told, which I hadn't really told anybody, which was also important to me to tell them, which I didn't have to, but I told the Bolts that, basically the abortion was something that was a part of, my behavior for being so defensive. I was extremely defensive. Gabe is a very friendly person, and he's just a friendly guy, and I was just like, look, you're in my personal space a little bit, and I'm a little uncomfortable. And he is just a very businessman, very cares about his business. And so I came out and told them, and Gordon was just like, I'm sorry to hear what happened to you. And so the big picture here is abortion affects women all the way up until they have healing. It will even affect their work. So that's what we were dealing with. And where they are very Christian, they understood where I was coming from, and that is part of what had happened. So I'm going to wrap this up here. And when you have Leandro trying to use, an area of in your life, an area of weakness with the abortion, I mean, it's pretty bad, right? Same thing with some jobs I've had with the post-traumatic stress, and like working at the Broadmoor. Not only did I have that stress to deal with, but I also had a divorce that my husband filed for, so I was carrying that weight too. So this is kind of what women deal with in the workforce with their abortion. So I'm very thankful to the Bults, and because of all the skills that they had given me, I still have work. So thanks for joining me, ladies.